In this exercise tutorial, I'm going to be taking you through how to do an intermediate version of the hollow hold. Now, the hollow hold is a core exercise. It's where we hold a set position, we contract the core isometrically, meaning there's no change in muscle fibers. You get a big contraction of the core, and all you have to do is hold a static position. Now, if I just go through the easy version, then I go through the hard variation. There is quite a jump from the first variation of a hollow hold to the more advanced variation. And often clients will need something in the middle to bridge the gap between that easy variation and the really hard variation. So that's where I'm going to show you what we can do in the middle to try and condition the core and work linear up to that hardest variation. So firstly, you're going to start off on the floor. Now, one of the things I find with hollow holds, especially for new clients, beginners, is if they bring their hands behind their head, like you see with a lot of hollow hold variations, and they crunch up, they'll often find they get a lot of strain through the neck flexors. So I often teach this with someone having their hands behind their head. I'll get them to crunch up as high as possible. And for the first easiest variation, they're just going to bend their knees and they're going to hold this position. So they're crunching up as hard as possible. The further the legs go away from the body, the harder it's going to be. So the more mass we've got away from our centre of gravity changes. This will be the hardest variation. So of course, if we're looking to bridge the gap between those two exercises, might have guessed it already. We're going to have one leg straight, one leg bent, and we're going to hold that position. Elbows out of our field of vision, crunched up as high as physically possible, and I've got my shoulders here off of the mat. Once you've held that for your desired amount of seconds, of course, you're trying to condition the core up to be able to do that hardest variation over time. But it's a nice way to bridge the gap between the easy variation, the advanced variation, and find something intermediate in the middle of those two. You'd repeat that for your desired amount of sets and seconds, and that is how to do the single leg hollow hold.